Okay, so working in virtual teams offers us a lot of opportunity to work with people that we wouldn't necessarily have the chance to when working in the office, and also enables us to draw from skill sets from people that aren't necessarily in close proximity to us. At the same time, though, it offers or introduces lots of new challenges in terms of the way we relate with other co-workers in virtual teams. So I just want to talk through 7 quick tips to help us build up good relationships with our virtual co-workers. So first of all, it's important to think about how we can increase cross-cultural awareness. For example, if you're in a video conference with people in different locations, many of those people might not necessarily have English as their first language, or the language that the meeting's being conducted in won't necessarily be the first language of everybody in the meeting, which can then sometimes lead to frustration where people are having to process information into their first language, and sometimes can even result in sub-conversations happening in a different language than the presenter or the person leading the meeting might have. So it's important to have open and frank conversations around some of those challenges so that we can all understand what everybody in those meetings are going through. Secondly, it's really important to create team norms. So this could be things like, how do we make decisions in a virtual team? How do we resolve conflicts? Also some norms around communications, even at the start of a meeting. We could introduce ourselves, and when we speak in a teleconference or video conference, let the other people know who it is who's speaking. It's also really important to have a clear set of responsibilities, and each individual has a clear set of goals that everybody else understands. Next is about building up virtual trust. So when we're in an office with lots of co-workers surrounding us, it's very easy to get an idea of what their working habits are, what their previous successes might have been. But when you're in a virtual team, that's not so easy. A few tips to help with that are to make sure that we've got a picture of ourselves and the members of the virtual team, and possibly a little bit of a biography about their previous work, achievements or experience, and a little bit about their social life as well. What can also be done is to build up some team artifacts. That could be a team motto or slogan, or even a team logo. Again, coming back to having virtual meetings, it's important to have a little bit of small talk either at the start of a meeting or at the end of a meeting. Next is around mixing up the communication mediums. So there can be, we've got lean, medium and rich media. So what I mean by a lean media is, for example, email or a text message where we can relay some points, but don't necessarily relay any emotional response with those points. Whereas rich media could be things like video conferencing or teleconferencing, where the other people that we're working with can get an understanding of either our tone of voice or body language, which just then helps people pick up those non-verbal communication methods. So it's really important to mix up those different communication channels and make sure that we're using all of those. In addition to that, there's a lot of social channels these days where we can use emojis to represent an emotional response to what's happening in the meeting, and Slack is a great tool that's got a whole range of emojis that we can use that just help with our communications. Next point is around motivating the team through gamification type techniques. So these could be things like giving immediate feedback to activities that have happened, or setting clear objectives with a series of staged challenges as we go through, for example, a project, which then just helps to build up participation and motivation amongst our virtual team members. 6 is to create a social space. So obviously in the office we have things like the water cooler, we can have chats when we go to make a cup of tea, but it's really important to try and recreate that in the social space. Again, one of the tools we use called Slack, we've introduced channels, for example, the interesting channel, where people or staff can share anything that they found interesting and share that with everyone else, and we can all comment on that. And then lastly, obviously nothing actually beats a face-to-face meeting to build up rapport with our co-workers. So if possible, it's always good to have, or try to have at least one face-to-face meeting at either the start of a project. We're in a virtual team or a piece of work you might be working on. Obviously, that's challenging within the areas that Christian Aid work, but if you do get an opportunity to have at least one face-to-face meeting with your co-workers, that's always a great benefit.